Please remain standing for the National Anthem of Australia.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated. I now present to you the Deputy Chancellor of Monash University, Mr. John Simpson, who will open this graduation ceremony.
Graduands and guests, our guest speaker, Dr. Doug Hilton, who's CEO of the CSIRO, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Enterprise and Engagement and Senior Vice-President Professor Doron Ben-Meir, Interim Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research and Senior Vice-President Professor Mike Ryan, Associate Dean, Graduate Research of the Faculty of Science, Professor Peter Betts, distinguished visitors, members of Council and members of the faculty, it's my great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Council of Monash University to this 1,353rd graduation ceremony of Monash University. I should also add that this is the 18th graduation that the university has conducted over the last 3 weeks. And it's been my great pleasure to have been at about 1/3 of those. Monash University acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and to community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. We also acknowledge that we are in Reconciliation Week, which started just a few days ago. It's now my pleasure to call upon the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Enterprise and Engagement and Senior Vice-President Professor Doron Ben-Meir to address this Assembly.
Deputy Chancellor, our guest speaker, Dr. Doug Hilton, distinguished guests, colleagues, and most importantly, graduands, their families and supporters. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which Monash University stands, the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I also wish to acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander persons present today. Attending graduation ceremonies is a great privilege of my position at Monash University because it's an opportunity to witness firsthand the happiness and excitement, the pride and sometimes the relief of our graduates as they cross the stage to receive their testaments. Your graduation is a wonderful occasion for you to share and celebrate your achievements at Monash with the people who have supported you throughout your journey with us, your family, friends and classmates. I congratulate you on completing your studies. It's a tribute to your work and commitment and the support you have had along the way. Your Monash education has set you apart, equipping you with the knowledge, global outlook, experience and purpose to make a tangible and positive difference to the people and the world around us. Your education has prepared you not only to pursue your ambitions, but to also fulfil your promise. Your promise to those around you, your promise to your communities, your promise to your own generation and the world. It is the promise to confront the manifold challenges of our time. The good of all depends on this promise. We depend on those with the knowledge and capacity to evaluate evidence and build an understanding of the world that reaches across boundaries and prejudice. We depend on those with the learning and the wisdom to know that knowledge is always moving forward, always challenging the fixed ideas of the present and the past. And most importantly, we depend on those with the courage to apply their knowledge and experience for the betterment of our communities, whether locally or across the world. In Monash University, you have graduated from one of the very best universities in the world. We're proud of Monash's global reputation for educational excellence and research innovation. Monash scientists last year continued to be at the forefront of new discoveries. For example, an international team led by Monash discovered the oldest known evidence of birds near the South Pole by unearthing avian footprints imprinted more than 100 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. Monash astronomers discovered a multi-planet system reminiscent of the fictional desert planet Tatooine from Star Wars. Monash biologists led international research that identified a new way to explore how diet may help alleviate symptoms in people with genetic disorders that affect how we metabolize protein. There are more than 1,400 of these genetic illnesses, which are a major cause of death in newborns and young children. The research aims to make it easier to identify what dietary changes are needed. Also last year, Monash science researchers collaborated with Zoos Victoria on a mission to save the iconic helmeted honeyeater from the brink of extinction through a specially adapted genetic breeding program. These projects and numerous others like them across every faculty and every discipline of this university rely on excellent researchers, our partners and collaborators supporting organisations and our students. They ensure that excellence is turned into positive impact. Every generation lives its own life, faces its own challenges and makes its own future. This future is in your hands, and this I know is a good thing. Yours is the most enlightened generation. You have an unbounded worldview, a worldview that is informed by the past, but not hostage to it. You should be optimistic. You should be confident in your own capacity and ability to take the lead in addressing the challenges confronting us today with persistence, courage and goodwill, and in collaboration with others. As the university's namesake, Sir John Monash, so famously remarked, "Equip yourself for life, not solely for your own benefit, but for the benefit of the whole community." In graduating from Monash University, you join a diverse and extensive network of Monash alumni linked together across the globe by your shared experience at Monash, our values and our commitment to excellence. They are, and now you, also are our greatest ambassadors, inspiring our new students and working with us to accelerate and increase our positive impact and influence around the world. I very much hope you stay connected with us wherever life and your ambitions take you. And may Monash University's motto, Ancora Imparo, I am still learning, guide and enrich you. Congratulations, I wish you every success. Enjoy your graduation day. Thank you. I now call upon Professor Peter Betts, Associate Dean Graduate Research of the Faculty of Science, representing the Dean of the Faculty of Science.
Deputy Chancellor, I certify to you and to the Council of Monash University that all candidates now to be presented and those others listed in your copy of the graduation program have fulfilled the condition prescribed by the Council of Monash University for admission of the degrees and for the award of the diplomas indicated in the program. Would all candidates for the degrees and diplomas of the Faculty of Science please stand?
Graduands, with the authority of Council, I admit you to the degrees and award the diplomas to which you are entitled. I also admit to the degrees and award the diplomas to which they are entitled those others who are absent today, but are listed in our copies of the graduation program. Graduates, as you now are, this moment marks an important milestone in your lives. This ceremony is the visible culmination of your very hard work and your commitment. Your achievements are outstanding, and you should always look back on this moment with great pride. I personally congratulate each of you, and I now ask that members of the audience to applaud your significant accomplishments.
Please be seated. Deputy Chancellor, graduates will be presented to you by Associate Professor Ruth Reith, who is the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education of the Faculty of Science.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you graduates from the Faculty of Science who have been admitted to the following degrees and awarded the following diplomas today. Bachelor of Science, Angelo Jose Abales. Marwa Abdul Gayoor. Shamin Sneha Abraham. Arit Saha Ador. Esin Aktash. Faiga Amzalak. Mariam Anwari. Lauren Beth Arbuckle. Caitlin Annie Ashley. Abdul Fatah Asadi. Brock Alexander Augustinsky. Laila Ayub. Ria Baba. Emma Baker. Fatima Baluch. Melissa Barilaro. Joshna Baskar. Kiara Joan Bayruss. Paris Stephanie Beasy. Mackenzie Jane Bell. Georgia Lena Bellamy. Malik Ben Rumzan. Bridget Benedis. Joshua Matthew Bennett. Deanna Ronwin Bertram. Hebe Georgina Best. Gabrielle Benjamin. Alyssa Georgia Bowles. Patrick James Brett. Amy Buck. Holly May Bujea. Lauren Gabriella Kakamo. Alicia Elizabeth Callahan. Chieska Kapilitan. Chan Sin Nam. Chang Yi Ming. Botye Chen. Clement Wei Jie Chen. Ye Chong. Wan Lin Chin. Alice Constanza Church. Ethan Jim Churchill King. Caitlin Jessie Clark. Brendan Kyle Coyne. Daniela Mercy Couray. Dianeba Alice Koulibaly. Eliza Margaret Cowley. Luke Kevin Cranswick. Lana Craythorne. Abigail Elizabeth Curtis. Victoria Madeline D'Ambrosio. Hetvi Dave. Gemma Davison. Mitchell Dawson. Ella Day. Khai Duan. Alexandra Grace Donaldson. Sarah Kate Dorfsteder. Connor Scott Doughty. Beatriz Karil Pantas Dugue. Rika Dumrill. Maxwell Eddington. Naduni Yasadora LVT Galage. Rose Susan Evers. Melitma Judy Fernando. Nikita Alicia Fernando. Isabella Chloe Fletcher. Maeve Ella Ford. Darcy Furman. Frederick Brian Gani. Ida Sonia Galke. Amanda Louise Yanaris. Alana Jade Gibson. Brigitte Claire Gleason. Elise May Gordon. Savannah Eve Greamer. Ryan Gulati. Taha Haluji Amar. Lucy Hamill. Freshta Hassan. Jessica Kate Hayden. Du Ho. Shari Holden. Bronte Holt. Bunyasiri Hongsamat. Hu Xiao Shen. Natalie Jo Hooper. Mumu Majabin Hussein. Grace Olivia Frelia. Bocha Hu. Ashley Hoyne. Jaslyn In. Makaya Isherwood. Nazanin Jalali. Yu Jung Jung. Bang Yen Yin. Lily Georgia Kalinikos. Moyed Kamali. Nipun Kapadia. Prablin Kaur. Cynthia Kelly Lee Yu Chu Ki Singh. Patrick Kelly. Ella Victoria Keo. Amir Hamed Khandan. Catherine Christian. Rojan Kiava. Fatima Kidwai. Hannah Judith Kilbasa. Luke Knight. Zoe Madison Kroll. Aja Elijah Bia Quick. Taylor Rhiannon Langenfels. Alice Pia Larson. Mary Lee. Vivian Lee. Ka Peng Lee. Nathan Thomas Lee. Samantha Lee. Wen Chu Lee. Ye Lee. Evelyn Teng Yong Lim. Corey Alexander Leonis. Nicholas Dennis Levanas. Pitumi Nayanga Dashmi Lianage. Victor Chen Xiang Lo. Sara Itzel Lopez Trevino. Sean Liu. Jiaying Lo. William Gardner Lyon. Lillian Alexandra Ma. Tamara Anderson Ma. Funwama Madin Limbu. Andana Madan. Adash Madhavan. Arnav Malasi. Tasnia Malik. Tamara Jade Marcus. Alicia Yanni Matheson. Alia Matias. Kiara Grace McCauley. Molly May McGowan. Chelsea Medwell. Ebony Ray Moback. Kellyanne Shonette Myers. Joshua Michels. Harry Robert Middlebrook. Samantha Jane Miller. Najma Muzaffari. Nida Mughal. Hafsa Najib. Muna Nashashibi. Amy Elizabeth Naylor. Megan D. Nguyen. V. Nokdan Nguyen. Brianna Kate Oakley. Trent James Mataranga Ohia. Adana Nozichuku Okoronkwo. Liza Osmani. Sarah Angela Ostrovsky. Olivia Tamalua Palalagi Jackson. Stephen Papageorgiou. William Patterson. Natuli Tasanya Patiranage. Thanuli Tathandi Patiranage. Maria Sophia Pavia. Musei Po. Freya Megan Peck. Charlotte Meg Penrose. Sanya Nelitma Pereira. Natasha Pershin. Rian Prasada. Sienna Krebstel. Zoe Pruval. Stephen Pui. Oliver Quinn. Nazifa Nawal Rahman. Vanisra Rajasegaran. Kidmi Kishara Ramsinghe. Punya Rilan. Sydney Renee. Matthew Ridley. James Richard Riley. Alex Robinson Fletcher. Chloe Luella Rogers. Thomas Christopher Roth. Naval Saeed. Mariam Saleh. Rinchen Sangamo. Christopher Alexander Santoso. Faith Abigail Savananthan. Freya Eleni Barbara Sekinger Crow. Jeremy C. Harini Medusha Senanayaka. Sayuri Senaviratna. Ashley Elizabeth Seymour. Merdad Shafir. Shreya Sharma. Amir Rajan Merikan bin Shiraz Merikan. Christian Signorelli. Jordan Sim. Hannah Marie Simpson. Roshni Sudhakar Singh. Emma Sitaru. Amy Charlotte Smith. Chloe Smith. Kayla Heather Smith. Serena Ann Smith. Brittany Alicia Spencer. Holly Jean Spencer. Kelly Spiridis. Harrison Stefanidis. Camille Elizabeth Stillwell. Zach Nicholas Hudson Stoltz. Thomas Jared Strudwick. Freya Grace Sutter. Rachel Stephanie Svensson. Joshua Alexander Swan. Megan Swaden. Miab Taha. Ibrahim Tamrat. Zara Jade Taylor. Marin Terrence. Tony Tai. Jed Alexander Thomas. Amber Tilley. Zara Tohi. Ellie Tolson. Brenda Tran. Cecilia Tran. Jason Tran. Nancy Tren. Erica Lee Trickett. Kay Evelyn Troughton. Grace Tsao. Maria Clara Andrea Cantilla Ansan. Zidano Andrade Valence. Athanasia Venetsanakos. Olivia Joan Vines. Elvin Vo. Vumin Hien. Chichun Wan. Rebecca Wei. Rebecca Minoli Wickramasuriya. Brooke Gemma Wilson. Michael Ventura. Elmi Wu. Shi Yilun. Lucy Maizua Yang. Jean Yanakopoulos. Elif Yildirim. Michael Mohib Subhi Sosok Youssef. Mariam Yusuf. Sophia Maria Zavras. Lachlan Peter Zenyu. Chang Kerying. Serena Chung. Zixien Chao. Bachelor of Science, Honours. Hania Elazawi. Riley Murray Arnold. Megan Amanda Lee Barling. Yafa Pearl Bart. Chutian Anouk Luna Bo. Hayden David Blank. Sarah Bogg Smith. Emily May Brennan. Jessica Ellen Canning. Louise Cadamoni. William David Carpenter. Stephanie May Carter. William Robert Chant. Caleb Yishian Chu. Anya Marie Connett. Victoria Jane Coyne. James Frank Del Tito. Callum Paul Diamond Smith. Eva Dukas. Vasilios Doikopoulos. Dane Durson. Chloe Ann Edwards-Lee. William Elliott. Jasmine Lee Everett. Maggie Ayers. Muna Farah. Stuart Fraser. Emily Fu. Vanessa Gann. Bronte Kathleen Hayward. Brendan George Healy. Ella Marie Hutchinson. Andy Huyin. Zoe Elaine Johnson. Meltem Karadeniz. Celine Frances Isabel Kiffer. Nikki Littlow. Elizabeth Sue Lim. Letitia Xiaoqi Lo. Aviva Lee. Georgia Peter Rose Lynch. Jack Mills. Imogen Faith Moore. Cody Malcolm Much. Ramanika Nair. Claire Nguyen. Joshua Robert William Nichols. Sarah Rianne Nolan. Matthew O'Brien. Renee Joanna O'Leary. Felix Waitsun Orr. Da Hen O. Lachlan Andrew Patterson Crisp. Louis Picker. Leon Grashan Pitigala. Ashley Ifa Prima. Simone Radati. Kathleen Rasmussen. Nathan Riley. Brittany Robertson Smith. Alana Schmetzer. Julia Rose Crofani. Helen Julia Shea. Sanishka Sharma Singh. Dylan Aiden Spark. Imogen Stevenson. Rihanna Shanley Tad Lennox. Patrick Michael Teresh. Chen Yang Teo. Alice Jane Turner. Rebecca Louise Volk. Kailash Kumar Vinu. Naomi Lata Warren. Holly Wright. Master of Environment and Sustainability. Caitlin Gallo. Doctor of Philosophy. This award is conferred as a joint award with the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. For research titled Unraveling Tectonic Coupling and Loading Along the Sunda Margin Through 3D Regional Numerical Modeling, Dr. Tiagara Julu Gulapalli. For research titled Megathrust Earthquakes, Inferences from Numerical Modeling and Explainable Artificial Intelligence, Dr. Juan Carlos Actub Graciosa. For research titled Trends, Projections, and Drivers of Frequent Coastal Flooding Under Sea Level Rise, Dr. Benjamin Samuel Haig. For research titled Development of Novel Polymeric Anionic Exchange Membranes, Dr. Rakil Ayer. For research titled Carbon-Based Electrodes for Water Electrolysis, Dr. Jen Howe Darrell Lee. For research titled Development of Organocatalytic Photoredox and Electron Donor Acceptor Complex Reactions for Complex Molecule Synthesis, Dr. Tia-Chun Lee. For research titled Neosex Chromosomes and Their Role in Enhancing Mitonuclear Coadaptation in Australasian Robins, Dr. Gabrielle Wei-Jie Low. For research titled Mangrove Biogeography Under Climate Change Scenarios and Urbanization, Dr. Mary Carmen Guadalupe Martinez-Diaz. For research titled Photophysics, Mechanistic Studies, and Biosensing Capability of Pyridinium and Isoquinolinium betanes, Dr. William Noel MacDonald. For research titled The Role of Peninsular Malaysia During the Mesozoic to Cenozoic Tectonic Evolution of Southeast Asia, Dr. Mohammed Afiq bin Muhammad Ali. For research titled Transition Metal Catalyzed Strategies for Building Molecular Complexity, Dr. James Theodore Merritt. For research titled Equilibrium and Transient Broadband Terahertz Conductivity of Gated Graphene, Dr. Tan Phat Nguyen. For research titled Incorporating Ecosystems and Ecological Communities into Strategic Conservation Planning, Dr. Javiera Paz Olivares Rojas. For research titled Impact of Climate Anomalies on Instability and Predictability of Weather Systems, Dr. Stacy Lee Osbrow. For research titled Identification and Characterizing of Novel Neuromuscular and Neurodegenerative Disease Genes, Dr. Sidayanuge Dashika Sandipani Palipana. For research titled Probing Cosmic History with Merging Compact Binaries, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Riley. For research titled Expanding the Reactivity of Magnesium-1 Complexes Towards Organic Molecules for Applications Within Organic Synthesis, Dr. Christopher Andrew Rosengarten. For research titled Preparation and Characterization of Victorian brown coal-derived carbon monoliths and their environmental applications, Dr. Fatima Shahid. For research titled Conservation Management of Small Isolated Populations, the Norfolk Island Moorpork as a Case Study, Dr. Victoria Florence Sparing. For research titled Impacts of Common Pharmaceutical Pollutants on Behavior and Other Fitness-Related Traits in Freshwater Fish, Dr. Chen Hung Tan. This award is conferred as a joint award with the Indian Institution of Technology, Bombay. For research titled Unraveling the Amyloidogenic Properties of Euperin 3.5 and 3.7 Variants Through Biophysical Investigations, Dr. Chandni Tiwari. For research titled Observations and Models of Nuclear Burning in Accreting Neutron Stars, Dr. Ka-ho Tse. For research titled Ergodic Theory of Accessible Partially Hyperbolic Endomorphisms, Dr. Audrey Tyler. For research titled Problems in Low Mass Stellar Rotation, Dr. Tanner Alex Wilson. For research titled Polytopal Methods for Irregular Meshes, Singular Situations, and Advanced Models, Dr. Liam Yem. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Science.
Thank you. It's always about now that we suggest that the audience release a bit of tension and make quite a lot of noise and clap clap all our graduates again, and PhD. Okay, that's enough noise now, yeah. So we now have the opportunity to hear from our talented musicians from Monash University's Sir Zelman Cowen School of Music and Performance. And I'd like you please to welcome Ms. Hannah Wee and Ms. Alyssa Wong to the ceremony, who will be performing a duo concertante for 2 violins, number 3 in D major, opus 57, the Allegretto. So please welcome them.
Thank you.
Our wonderful music scholars here at Monash really are quite outstanding, and we do thank Hannah and Alyssa very much for that wonderful and uplifting performance. The graduation address that we come to now gives us the opportunity to hear from a distinguished member of our alumni community. And today we are extremely fortunate that the address will be delivered by Dr. Doug Hilton, sitting on my left. Dr. Hilton commenced as the Chief Executive of CSIRO in September of last year. Dr. Hilton's a molecular and cellular biologist and previously Director of the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute of Medical Research. His medical research focused on understanding how blood cells communicate and using this knowledge to improve disease treatments. He and his team held more than 20 patents and translated their research through collaboration with venture capitalists and the biopharmaceutical industry. Through an honorary appointment at the zoology department at the University of Melbourne, he also studies a family of tiny day flying moths. Perhaps we'll hear about those, Doug. Oh, we won't, okay. Flying moths involved in the pollination of Australian plants. Beyond research, Dr. Hilton has emphasised the importance of strong institutional cultures and further diversity in science, including as a member of the Champion of Change Coalition and a board member of the Australians Investing in Women. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Doug Hilton to deliver today's graduation address. Please welcome him.
Thank you so much. There are 4 groups that I'd like to acknowledge. First, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting and celebrating today. I'd like to acknowledge those traditional owners in what is now called Clayton, the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'd like to celebrate the First Nations graduates in this auditorium and pay my respects to the friends, the families and the communities who encouraged and supported them. You don't build the longest, and I would argue the richest continuous culture in the world without working together to ask profound questions of the universe around you, without seeking those answers through observing the natural world and the relationships between animals and plants, place and time, without collaborating, innovating, inventing, adapting and creating in an environment that can be extraordinarily hostile and is at all times unpredictable and constantly changing. You don't build that culture without refining and communicating those answers in ways that transcend generations and without acting on those answers to the benefit of future generations. When as scientists we think about how we work together, how we communicate ideas, and how we measure our impact, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people set the benchmark to which we should aspire. Second, I want to acknowledge the graduates. Congratulations on making it to this day. That is a wonderful achievement. Third, if like me, you've had moments when you didn't think you would make it to Robert Blackwood Hall, then to get here, you've almost certainly been supported and encouraged by your friends, perhaps by your families, or perhaps by your academic peers, mentors and tutors. If you've never wavered, then likely you've built up that reserve of determination to the support and encouragement of your friends, your family, or perhaps your academic peers, mentors and tutors. For me, and I suspect everybody on the stage, including in the front row, the importance of support doesn't end when you receive your degree. It's a necessary ingredient in every step of your life. So to the graduates, I ask, if you feel like it, perhaps you'd like to stand and acknowledge and celebrate all of the people in this hall and all of the people in our lives for their support and encouragement, and I ask that you pay this support and encouragement forward. Fourth, I'd like to thank Monash University, who showed me more than 40 years ago that learning could be fun, and to the leadership of this wonderful institution for the privilege of inviting me to speak today. It's an obvious thing to say, but a science degree, whether undergraduate, master's or PhD, is the beginning of a journey, and where you go and the path you take is personal and unique. For me, as a 17-year-old beginning my degree at Monash in 1982, I had no idea where that journey would take me. At the end of second year, I was disillusioned and uncertain about the path ahead when I stumbled into an opportunity to work in a lab at ANU over summer. I entered that lab with no expectations, but it turned out to be the most profoundly important moment in my life. The only way I can explain it is that it was like falling in love, and I still get goosebumps and tingles every time I think about it. I hope some of you have experienced that already, and more of you may experience that in the future. For the first time, I found a place where I fitted in, where I was embraced, where I did not need to explain myself, where I was accepted for obsessing, for delving deeply into a narrow area. Until that point, I didn't really understand that such a place existed. I could not conceive that research was a career, nor understand that research was the key to our ability to navigate the challenges that confront us as a nation and globally. You are infinitely more sophisticated than I was in the 1980s. And for you, I think it's obvious that science is the key to improving our understanding of the environment and protecting our fragile biodiversity. That it's crucial to tackling pandemics and overcoming transgenerational global issues like climate change. That it's central to improving outcomes for devastating diseases like malaria or incurable cancers like brain cancer, or improving outcomes across the board so that we're the healthiest 26 million people in the world, leave no groups behind, and do this in a manner that is financially sustainable. That science is a key ingredient also in building a more resilient and diverse economy, driving productivity and sustainability in our small, medium and large companies. And I've also come to understand that an undervalued but no less important impact of science is inspiring wonder and creating hope. And goodness knows, in a world riven by conflict and environmental catastrophes, we need wonder and hope more than ever. But not for a moment can we take this for granted. Repeatedly over the last days, weeks, months and years, we're reminded that we live in an era shaped by misinformation and conspiracy theories. We live in a time where calculated efforts are made to erode public confidence in the critical pillars of civil society, including scientific organisations, universities, independent electoral commissions, the courts and the public service. We live in an era where undermining public confidence is the business model of some media and social media companies, and at least overseas, the reflexive position of some prominent and powerful politicians. This is a time where the nuanced exchange of ideas is too often overshadowed by polarised narratives, a time when distrust pervades public discourse and when changing your mind is seen as a broken promise. As someone who, like you, has been trained in science, this is the antithesis of my world and my life. Doubt is the lead singer of the band inside my head. Whenever I have an idea or think of an experiment or an approach to tackle a problem, or I'm trying to make sense of the world around me, whenever I read an article in a newspaper or interpret data, I'm thinking, how might I have this wrong? As a scientist, when all of the evidence points in the same direction, I'm thinking, how could this be misleading me? And what is the counterfactual? and when everything feels consistent and resonant, and I'm at the point of drawing a conclusion, I submit my understanding to the critique of friends and colleagues, especially those who see the world in a different way to me. In science, we call this peer review. In life, we call this being open to feedback. Invariably, my work and my thinking and my understanding of the world is improved by this process. This voice of doubt in my head only begins to quieten, to become part of the backing chorus when other people have independently validated what I've concluded. After 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 years of studying science, and in some cases doing research, every one of you should have the voice of doubt in your head. If that voice is loud, that's fantastic. If that voice is muted, I ask you to pass it the microphone, to cultivate it and train it, and to listen to it, because it will bring you nuance and colour and clarity and understanding, and it will enable you to contribute to the world in a more sophisticated and ultimately more impactful way. Doubt is a crucial part of science and research. This is the S and the R of CSIRO. This is real research. So when I'm talking with someone, whether a senator or one of my family members or a random member of the community who disagrees with scientists and says, "But I've done my research," as if spending time Googling or reading the articles that come up in a social media feed is somehow equivalent to careful years or decades of reading and experimenting and formulating and testing and retesting hypotheses and doubting, I call nonsense. And I hope you will join me in doing so whenever you see that happen. We can have faith in science not because scientists are smarter or have gone to a world-class university like this one or are less subject to human frailties, but because of the processes that underpin science. In an era like this, it's critical we do everything possible to protect trust in science. If we are to navigate the profound challenges that confront us, the community must have faith in scientific evidence, high-quality information and advice. We've seen this quite strikingly in the US, where there's been a continued decline in public trust in scientists in recent years, and the share of Americans who say science has had a mostly positive effect on society has fallen precipitously and continues to fall. A recent example of this dynamic in play is in Florida, which has been tackling a measles outbreak. Disturbingly, the state's Surgeon General, a vaccine skeptic, has ignored and indeed decried patently uncontroversial and sensible public health practices that are supported by great scientific evidence. Those practices could mitigate the problem, and his denial of those has cost lives. Subsequent exchanges about this issue on social media, including many troubling and often blatantly false anti-science conspiracy theories, are utterly corrosive. Those voices supporting the evidence-based, medically prudent course of action are lost in the sadly all too familiar and increasingly mainstream counterclaim world, which throws up theories like the Earth is flat, 5G networks cause COVID, and billionaires are microchipping humans. If that continues, then with it goes many of our reasons for hope and optimism. Science can be extremely complex, but the fundamental underpinning reasons for trusting science are pretty simple. We can trust in science because of the rigour of the processes. The scientific processes on which trust depends is based on an open and transparent discussion of data, careful observations, of models, of methods and conclusions. That means scientific debate internally within the minds of scientists and externally with close collaborators, peers internationally, and with critics. All of that is central to scientific progress. Scientific debate is the antithesis of distortion, disparagement, and dog whistle rejection of the scientific process, or of the science, or of a scientific organisation to justify a particular policy position. If we disparage science as a substitute to discussing the merits of policies themselves, we continue this race to the bottom. There is a very important difference between debating the merits of a policy direction based on the established facts and seeking to undermine those facts to suit a particular position. As scientists and as rational actors in our community, we cannot cede the field. We must demand public debates without denigrating the science and corroding the public's trust in science generally. If this happens, it must be seen as a red line and called out. I see that as a central part of my job. I hope that every one of you, as people with an outstanding training in science, see that as an important principle in your life. Whether that's on the front pages of newspapers, or on radio, or in social media, or often more powerfully in the quiet but crucial conversations of your daily lives, please stand up and be counted. Thank you.
I think we've all been privileged to hear the words of Doug today, and we do thank you very much, Doug, for giving up what has probably been the fair slice of your day to being here at Monash, and we're enormously grateful to you. So please again acknowledge Dr. Hilton. I'm very aware that the official party is standing between you and some celebrations, so we won't detain you too much longer. But I do want to thank, given that this is the final graduation of this season, I do want to thank all the people behind the scenes who make our graduations happen, and there is a small army of them to make sure everything matches, although one person gave me back his degree today, which I thought was interesting, and someone else got 2 degrees for the same program, so that was also interesting. But we do have a large number of people on the stage and behind the scenes who help, and I'd like you to acknowledge all the work that they have done. So graduates, as you leave the ceremony today, remember that you are not leaving the university, no matter how far you may move away from this place or this time. As alumni of the university, you are joined to Monash and each other by a link that cannot be broken. We very much hope, which we very much hope will be strongly maintained, whether you're living here or elsewhere. You are now part of an enterprising and inclusive Monash global community of more than 490,000 alumni living in more than 150 countries. No matter where you find yourself in the world, we invite you to connect with fellow alumni and stay in touch with Monash through our alumni community. In congratulating you upon your very significant achievements, I particularly want to acknowledge the contribution that the academic and professional staff of the university have made in ensuring your presence at this ceremony. It's not always possible to do this in a public forum, but I would ask you now to take this opportunity to show them your appreciation with a round of applause. We know that university study is not easy. During your many years of research and learning, you had to cope with stresses of examinations and assignments and combine study with outside work and family obligations. Throughout this time, you were encouraged and supported by your parents, husbands, wives, partners, brothers, sisters, guardians, and/or friends. To acknowledge their contribution, I now invite you, the graduates, to stand and to turn and express your gratitude by a round of applause. So please stand. Well done. Thank you. Please be seated. Graduates, I now invite you to join the procession as the official party leaves the hall, and I ask members of the audience to remain standing at their seats until all our graduates have left the hall and the music has concluded. Today's ceremony is now at an end. Thank you.